Hello, this is Darlinda McTuck, and you can see my picture there and my email, dmctuck@e1b.org. Now, today we're going to spend a little bit of time looking at augmented reality versus virtual reality. So, in this presentation, I'm going to tell you a few things about both of them, augmented and virtual reality, show you a few examples, and then, of course, I will direct you to the website where you can not only find this recorded presentation, but also some resources to help you learn more and get you started. Okay, so let's start. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the differences between the two. So let's go down here, a little bit. So augmented versus virtual reality. Augmented reality, actually, let's just go ahead and click on this. So if you notice here, we have a little infograph or a little chart here that shows some of the differences. Now notice with augmented reality, you take parts of the real world and mix it with parts of the virtual world. Think about, a summer or two ago, the big thing was Pokemon Go, where people would walk around with their smartphones and they would see the real world, but then they would see Pokemon characters, imposed within the real world. So again, a mix of both, virtual and real. So it does let people interact between the two, but then of course the person that's in augmented reality can see that it's the real world mixed with the virtual world. And again, a lot of times this is done, with a smartphone in your hand or a tablet. Now, virtual reality creates an entirely virtual world. So the person could be transported anywhere and everywhere within a virtual world. Again, once the person gets in that virtual world, they really can't tell the difference between the virtual world and the real world. And notice these headsets right here, goggles, that's what the person would be wearing, a helmet or goggles to actually go into the virtual world. So again, there's virtual worlds involved in both. However, augmented is a mix of the real and the virtual world. Virtual reality is completely in the virtual world, and the augmented reality participant can tell the difference between the real and the virtual world, whereas once the person gets in the virtual world, they really can't tell or distinguish between the two. Now, I'm going to start with augmented reality. There is a book. You can see the title here. It says Deeper Learning with QR Codes in Augmented Reality. This book was written by Monica Burns. This is chapter 2, where it starts looking at QR codes. Now, QR codes, a lot of people are familiar with. Let me just show you something right here. I'm in my Chrome browser. So if I go up here, I actually have this Google URL shortener, which is a Chrome extension. So if I click on that, notice not only does it shorten my URL, but if I click on this, I actually get a QR code. Now, if you had a QR code reader, you could simply scan that QR code and it would take you right to this website. So a lot of us are familiar with the QR codes. This really is the simplest augmented reality. It's an easy way to have the students use a device, scan the QR code, they all get to the same website. Or maybe on, open house, maybe the kids do a little video, and so the parents can come along, click on that QR code, see a video of their student. Now, let's just take a second here and watch this video. It's short.
Okay, so I'm going to take you out now to make a QR code. I have qrstuff.com as the web browser that we're taking a look at right here. Once I'm here at qrstuff.com, and of course you can go in the appendix and choose from any QR code generator that you like. I'm going to stick here with the website URL. As you read on in the book, you'll notice that there are lots of ways you can use QR codes, but we'll stick with just websites for now. And this is
now the book that she just mentioned, this is Monica Burns. That was the book that I just showed you back here, that Deeper Learning with QR Codes and Augmented Reality. So when she refers to the book, that's exactly what she's referring to.
This is where I'm going to paste in the web URL where I want someone to go when they scan the QR code. So I've got this Scholastic article here. I'm just going to highlight it and copy it. I could do Control C, it's a little bit quicker too if I want students to read this article about a 3D hand. Now I go here and I paste it in, and as soon as I hit enter there, you'll see it's loading, making that QR code for me as we're waiting for the screen to load. So it's got this. Sometimes you'll see some things pop up about wanting you to sign up or log in for something. We don't have to worry about that. It's made the QR code for me right here. I'm going to download the QR code. No, thank you for signing up. And if I tap down here or go into my downloads folder, I've got my QR code right here and ready to go.
All right, so there was a brief video from Monica Burns. Remember Monica Burns, this book right here, Deeper Learning with QR Codes and Augmented Reality. Again, if you're interested in QR codes and augmented reality, this is a great book. She'll take you from beginning to end, starting with QR codes and then looking at augmented reality. Now, what we're going to do here is take a look at a video where they talk a little bit about augmented reality and then show you some examples in the classroom.
So let's talk about augmented reality. Exactly what is it? If you're a football fan, you see it all the time when watching football games on TV. Have you ever noticed the yellow first down line that is superimposed on the field? Right. In real life, that's not really there. Augmented reality is an overlay of digital media on top of real life, resulting in a unified but enhanced view. With the latest round of augmented reality, we view our real world through a device such as a smartphone or tablet, and this device superimposes extra information onto our real world view. But not so fast. We can't just point our device at just anything in everyday life and expect for there to be an augmented reality experience. We must use a specific augmented reality app to scan a designated marker. A marker is an object in real life, and this marker triggers the app on the device to show the augment. So what about education? There's definitely augmented reality with no substance that provides entertainment to both children and adults. But there's also augmented reality that has real potential to enhance learning. Check out this quick look at a few educational augmented reality apps and what they do. I'll follow up in later videos with in-depth reviews of each of these apps as well as other augmented reality apps for education. Monkey.
Notice when they pointed the device towards the marker or the card. So the card is in the real world. It's like a playing card you see in a deck of cards. But when they pointed this Animal 4D Plus at that marker or that card, notice the little monkey popped up. So you can still see the real world, and now this monkey right here is part of the virtual world. So again, in augmented reality, the participant can distinguish between the real world and the augmented world, the make-believe part. Notice with this particular augmented reality app, these blocks right here, notice that even though there's a lot of other things around that could be markers or cards for other augmented reality apps, this app specifically picks up on the two cubes there, and you notice that you have H and you have O. So now, of course, you put the two together, you get H2O or water. So I don't know if you noticed, but down here in the cubes, to begin with, they were empty because hydrogen and oxygen exist as a gas until they combine together and form water. So then you have the liquid inside of them. Okay, So you saw some examples there of some augmented reality apps. There were markers or cards that an app was pointed towards off of a smartphone, a tablet. And then a virtual world or a virtual character appeared. But again, as a participant, via the video, you could see that you could distinguish between that virtual and the real world. That's augmented reality. This is another augmented reality app that exists. So layer. Oh, let me hit start here. Oh, that was not. Sorry about that. That is not the one that we wanted.
Google Tango, the augmented reality platform from Google, has finally arrived. And you must be wondering what the fuss is all about.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to show you the layer app here in YouTube. Inadvertently got the wrong app to come up. So you notice in this with the layer app, which is an app you can get on your phone, the text can be brought to life. So again, this is a way that you could bring text to life in your classroom. There's also another app that's up and coming. I learned about this from a colleague, Mary Howard. And Mary Howard was telling me about this metaverse because you can make your own experiences in here. And if you've ever heard of like a breakout room, breakout box, you can actually, these are used in the breakout rooms. You can see here, you can see the real world behind it. You can see these like floating objects, the safe, the King Tut. You can see the text above here. These are all experiences that you as a teacher can actually create within this particular app. So again, there is a studio you can go to on your computer. Notice when you come in here, this is an example of augmented reality because you have that mix of the virtual world and then the real world. And then you can do interactive education, you can have games, you can have all sorts of things in here. Okay, so again, you are creating the experiences, you're sharing them, the experiences are coming to life, and then they can be used for learning experiences for the students. So again, this is called Metaverse. Thank you, Mary Howard. In fact, Mary just told me about this yesterday. So 24 hours ago, I learned about Metaverse. All right. Also, too, something that's kind of fun you're starting to see with augmented reality. For example, let me click on this little video from IKEA. And this is something that you could do. See how the magazine becomes the marker or the card. So notice what they're doing here. They're actually able to put the pieces of furniture virtually into their real house and see how it would look. So again, that's augmented reality. And then what there's a whole list of augmented reality apps. You can see Layer there. You can see some other things on here. Flashcards where the animals come to life. You saw something like that. Some of these are iPad apps, things like that, or even on your smartphone. All right, so we definitely took a look at augmented reality, that mixture of your real world combined with the virtual world. So now let's take a look at the virtual reality, because remember, when the person becomes submerged in it, or actually immersed in it, not submerged, immersed in it, they can't really separate the virtual from the real world. So let's take a look at this. This is a chemistry class. So notice they have to have the headset. That's the thing with virtual reality. There's some kind of a headset, goggles that the participant wears.
So today we're actually at a...
So what you were seeing there is a student where it looked like the student, like we could see the student, and then it looked like the student was seeing things in a virtual world. That's because the student really was immersed in that world. So they felt like they were actually standing inside the molecular structure of, for example, that, the point of the pencil, things like that. So their whole chemistry class becomes a virtual world for them where they may be completely immersed in it. But again, you have to have the headsets or the, or goggles or a headset.
A local school in Toronto, Canada, and we're showcasing VR powered by Radeon. We are showcasing it to students and teachers, and the experiences have been amazing.
It was an opportunity that Kelvin Lamb, who teaches computer.
Okay, I want to show you, actually not that video, I want to show you, this is Google Expeditions. So let's watch this one.
My name is Lance Tiesling. I'm in middle school in Eagle Grove, Iowa. Eagle Grove is not a very tall place. It's actually very flat. This is the tallest building on Main Street. It is about 50 feet tall. When I grew up, I want to be an architect and design skyscrapers. Yesterday at school, we went on a class trip, but this was not a normal trip with buses. This was something very different. The very first expedition we went on was to the Burj Khalifa.
Go ahead and grab 2 hands and put them up to your face.
It's so tall.
Okay, we're going to go to the 153rd floor.
So at this point, I have explained the differences between augmented versus virtual reality. by using this particular image or infographic, whatever you want to call this. So as a recap, just recall augmented reality is the mix of the real and the virtual world. That's where you saw like the card where the monkey came, it looks like the monkey came to life. So you could still see the real world, but yet you could see the virtual monkey, just like with the IKEA app that let you see the furniture virtually in your house before you buy it. So in that case, the person can still clearly distinguish between the real and the virtual world, and usually they're using something like a smartphone or a tablet. Virtual reality is completely in that virtual world. So that's where you saw like the chemistry class where the student actually was immersed into the molecular structure of the pencil point. You also saw the young boy in Iowa who wanted to be an architect one day, and so they used Google glasses, and those were not Google glasses. That was Google Cardboard, like the goggle type things, and they were able to virtually see that skyscraper. Again, in that case, when you go into a virtual reality, you can't really distinguish between the two. Like you saw, the kids were pointing; they felt like they were actually there. And again, you have to have the helmet or the goggles. So the Google Cardboard or like some kind of a headset the young man had with the chemistry one. And I also did show you, I showed you the QR codes. I showed you where Monica Burns, her book here, Deeper Learning with QR codes and augmented reality. Really a great place to start. It's a good book. It doesn't really cost a lot of money. Again, I have a copy myself. Okay, and then I also did show you there's a new augmented reality app on the horizon there. Shown to me by Mary Howard. Thanks again. This is where you can completely create your own experiences to include interactive games. Okay, so again, whether you're looking at augmented reality, virtual reality, what I'm going to do, and let me just show you this, I will show you the website. So again, the website for the webinars, you've seen this before if you've done any of them. If you haven't, it's new to you, it's okay. I'll send you the link. Again, you'd go to education trends. You're going to see that you'll then have one for augmented and virtual reality webinar. So once the link is live, you'll be able to click on it. There'll be some resources, this video, expectations as to how you can get 2 PD hours if that's what you wish. So again, thank you for your time today. And I'm Darlinda McTuck, and you may email me at dmctuck@e1b.org. Have a good day. Thank you.